what we are going to be talking about today, as you guys see in the title of the stream, it's going to be spoilers, and we're going to be talking about Halloween. We're going to break down absolutely everything from my perspective, and I want your guys' opinions afterwards. Maybe if you didn't like it, maybe hearing my perspective on how I watched it maybe can open some minds here, but I think we can all generalize. We can all totally generalize that the reason a lot of people did not like this movie is because, for the most part, the thing I've heard is it's not a Halloween movie. And that is ultimately dictated by the lack of Michael Myers throughout the film. It's not necessarily that it wasn't a Halloween movie, it's that it wasn't a Michael Myers movie. That's what it is. A lot of people will say, well, Michael Myers is Halloween. Yes and no. Yes and no. While Michael Myers has been the mainstay of the entirety of the Halloween franchise, sans Halloween 3 Season of the Witch, what this movie could have did and where it could have went afterwards, it definitely dropped the ball on. But ultimately, we start with Corey watching this kid. Kid is playing a prank on Corey, locking him in a room. Looks like Corey is sort of claustrophobic. It kind of seems like doesn't like to be locked in places, which could have been explored a little bit more, especially given the mother character. We're gonna get into that as well. Ultimately ends up with the kid being killed. While Corey wasn't there, there was nothing really against Corey on it. It had to have been ruled an accident. Otherwise, Corey would have been locked away. Corey was at the, about 17, 18, because he was getting ready to go to college and all that. Plays another part. At least for me, it did. So this takes place in 2019. When Corey is babysitting the kid dies. So at this point, because of the kid dying under Corey's watch and what the parents hear, because the parent hears Corey, the mother hears Corey saying, "I'm going to kill you," before the kid flies off from the top floor of their house and falls to his death. So they feel like it's intentional. This makes Corey the town monster since Michael Myers has disappeared. So he's being ridiculed. He's being bullied. All the things under the sun. Same thing with Laurie in this film. Laurie is being blamed for Michael Myers. Now, this would make more sense with Laurie being blamed for Michael if they would have kept the original way Michael escaped in 2018. For those that don't know, the original escape was Laurie gets drunk. If you remember when they're at the dinner and everything and Michael's being transferred. No worries, Slip. No worries. I'm doing great, King Billy. I'm doing great. How are you? Apophis, how you doing? It's pretty much like in the original 2018 when Laurie's at the dinner party. Laurie gets drunk because they're transferring Michael and she feels like she'll never get the chance to kill him. So the original escape was that Laurie was going to get drunk and sort of run Michael's bus off the road. I can't remember if it involved blowing out the tires with her gun or whatever, but Laurie is responsible in the original script for Michael escaping and going on his killing spree because she's so obsessed with him that she's willing to sacrifice lives in order to make this confrontation happen. Also, the original ending of 2018 was Michael and Laurie dying together. Allison and Corey, they start building this relationship. You are at home. Most of this movie very much develops Corey, that character, and everything surrounding him. And in my opinion, Corey was one of the most well-developed characters in the Halloween franchise. You can't tell me that there's not another character that's better developed. Like there's not to go to how he's being ridiculed for what he did, to the bullying, the parents at home. Big John, Little John, no! I love them though. I do love them. But as developed characters, no, not at all. Crazy man, I fucking swear. They did deserve better. But as I'm watching the movie, I'm talking to Amanda. I'm even throwing in the Discord chat. Corey and the relationship with the mother is giving me more Norman Bates vibes. And then we get to the point where Corey's getting bullied. This time by on the bridge by the same bullies that we saw at the beginning of the film. Corey ends up getting under the head bully's skin to the point where he throws him off the bridge and sort of knocks him out. At this point, so Michael drags Corey into the sewers, and Corey wakes up in the sewer, and he is seen from the trailer where he's walking. Michael grabs him by the throat, and they're staring at each other. You get almost like a peek inside, like Michael recognizes something in Corey. He doesn't have the strength to fully choke him out because it's been like fucking 4 years. So he's a little bit fucking weakened. He's weakened, especially after all the damage he took in 2018, living in the sewers and everything. You're going to be fucking weakened. But he sees something in Corey. Now, I saw a lot of people that had issues with this. I saw a lot of people like, why would he let him go? Think about it. Michael in 1978 lived alongside other Smith's Grove inmates, never killed one, at least as far as we know in the canon. Michael in 2018 lived in close quarters with Smith's Grove inmates. He also was on a bus in close quarters with other Smith's Grove inmates. When the bus gets ridden off the road, the Smith's Grove inmates escape. There's not one single body of a Smith's Grove inmate anywhere. There's security guards, but not Smith's Grove inmates. So it's almost like Michael can recognize the evil in others, and they become almost immune unless they get in his way. This is why Dr. Sartain didn't get killed on the bus, because Michael recognized the evil in Dr. Sartain. When Michael even killed Dr. Sartain, he was in his way, and it was like Dr. Sartain had his own obsession with Michael. All right, so like pretty much he lets Corey go. The interesting thing I think no one is talking about, no one, like a small group of people is talking about. Did anybody catch what the guy said to Corey when he came out of the tunnel? The guy says that Michael has been taking many people, many people into the tunnels. What that says to me is Michael's a cannibal. For 4 years, I didn't see any bodies in those tunnels. Michael was eating people. Corey gets away. He ends up killing the homeless guy that demands Michael's mask for whatever fucking, I'm Michael Myers, and like he gets killed. I guess you don't see that body because Michael probably came out and like fucking started eating him. There's no bones Kitsune, in the words of Pennywise. They all float down here. They're probably somewhere completely like somewhere else. or we haven't explored all the tunnels. We haven't explored all of them. So like pretty much there's probably like a cavern where he's keeping the bodies, like how he hid the knife. So Corey ends up getting away, feeling like, you know, he's like he's different. There's a tonal shift. He's no longer this anxious person that we've watched in the movie thus far. It's like there was a release, especially after he killed the homeless guy. There's a release, and he pretty much goes on from there on out. Like something snaps, something unlocks. There is a point where another character that is relatively a bully to Corey, I believe is it the father? Is it the father, the kid? I couldn't remember. But I was like, is that the father? Is that the father to the kid? Anybody that's watched the movie that's all, let me know. So like pretty much, either way, he leads this guy to the tunnels where Michael is hiding, sort of to get killed by him. So he takes him there. Michael ends up, with the help of Corey, ends up killing this guy. And Michael starts going into this like motion, almost like a seizure kind of thing, where he's like tensing, and everyone pretty much took it as it's Michael getting his strength back. It's Michael, but we got to also remember Michael is also insane. Michael is completely fucking crazy. We do not know if this Michael is full on supernatural. And if he is, we don't know how this supernatural entity works within Michael. Because I mean, the evil and everything, a lot of people will look at Michael Myers as Michael Myers is Michael Myers. He's the Shape. He is that. No, not necessarily. The Shape is something that is within Michael. You got to think of Michael Myers as a meat suit. The Shape can be anyone. In this particular form, it has taken the flesh suit of Michael Myers, but it can be anyone. He'd have to be non-human to survive kills. We could go into that, Eli, because think of the damage that Michael took. We know that Michael can withstand a ton of fucking damage from everything he took in 2018, everything he took in kills, and still was kicking around in this. But in this world, I look at it as it's much harder to kill people in this world. My evidence, Hawkins. When we watched 2018, I did not realize in 2018, Hawkins got stabbed in the neck and then got stabbed several more times while he was on the ground. Likely in the chest, based on where Sartain was aiming, because he wasn't aiming at his dick, and then left there to bleed out after being ran over by a car. Some would say a person couldn't survive that, but we're not saying Hawkins is supernatural. Look at the woman in this one, in Halloween Ends, that got stabbed in the neck with the fluorescent light. She was left there to bleed out for a while Michael was stabbing her husband in the back. There's no fucking way, based on how deep that fluorescent light went, there's no way she should have survived that. So there are different aspects of what you can survive in this film. Doesn't exactly make you supernatural or not. Like, there's some people saying, like, Corey could possibly have survived his neck being broken. I doubt it, but when you take that into consideration, it's not that hard to believe that this Michael could still be not supernatural based on how those others survived. Just based on that, with how the movie is sort of carrying on with mortality, so to speak. Now, once we get into where now some of the problems are evident. There's some major dialogue issues in this film that made me think that Rob Zombie wrote it. There's some, not many, but there's some. But once Corey starts actually killing, like when he teams up with Michael, he kills the doctor, Michael kills Allison's co-worker and everything like that, redoing the 1978 Bob fucking pin to the wall type shit. That was nice. That was nice. And like Corey watching, there gets to a point where Corey does sort of wrestle with Michael Myers, showing how weakened Michael Myers is at this point, for Corey to not only wrestle with him, but get to the point of taking off his mask. A lot of people had issues with this too. I had issues with it to a degree because Michael was still strong enough to pin a body up to a wall with one hand. I think it was the 2-finger missing hand too on top of, wasn't it? Like picking someone up with it. Now, the thing is also with this, if you remember, every single time, because Corey had to take the mask off Michael in order for it to happen. If they started wrestling and it was just about a killing blow, like holding a weapon and going, Michael would have killed Corey full on. But as we saw with Laurie in 2018, actually going back to 78, Laurie pulling the mask off Michael in 78 is like stunning him. It completely like fucking just took his attention away from everything he was doing. Like, don't touch my mask. 2018, Laurie does it again when he's choking her. Halloween Kills, Lindsay, when he's choking Lindsay, does the same thing. Starts pulling at the mask, lets her go. So and then you have this where Corey's whole objective is to take the mask. And Michael is struggling trying to keep it. And ultimately, Corey gets it, runs off. Michael sits up, looks, and so forth. Here we get to where Corey puts on the mask. and one of the best scenes in Halloween franchise history. The junkyard scene. The junkyard scene had me so fucking juiced. The kills in there where he kills the bullies, fucking great. Fucking great. All of Corey's kills when he's wearing the mask, you can, if you compare Corey wearing the mask and going out and Michael in 1978 to this, because they both would have been around the same age, I dare say that Corey is more lethal than Michael. If we're comparing at the same age, is Corey more resilient than Michael? No, absolutely not. Corey's not. Corey, all of his kills, like there was a couple of off-screen kills, off-screen kills, I should say. But when he puts on the mask, he looks like a young Michael Myers. Already the actor that plays Corey, and Fachala brought this up. And I couldn't unsee it afterwards. But if you look at Corey, does he not look like Michael when he got unmasked in 1978 to a degree? Like the same curly hair, everything. The kills that he does, like he's brutal. He's way brutal than Michael was at that age. He is way brutal than Michael was. He's not as strong as Michael. Or maybe you can make a case, because look at what he did to the fucking DJ. When he goes to the radio station, like he goes right into the into the radio station and bashes his fucking head into the table so much his jaw's hanging on by fucking thread, and then cuts off his fucking tongue. It comes to a sense where you realize he's not Michael. He wants to be Michael. He wants to be the Shape. But when he goes after Laurie finally, he gets shot. And that's where you can see that he's not fully there. He's not at like that evil within. Like he's almost there. And like pretty much this is where I have the major issues. This is where my issues really come into it. His whole thing, his whole purpose, that we find out is that he wants Allison to himself. Allison wants to be with him. He wants to be with Allison. And you have all of these people that are in the way. And he's going through the bullies. He's going after the radio DJ that sort of besmirched their good names, I guess you could say, earlier in the film. And Laurie has come to him personally and essentially told him, fuck off. That was the whole thing with that. So pretty much Laurie shoots him, he gets up, and his whole thing is like, if I can't have Allison, no one can, knowing Allison's coming in, cuts his own throat. Still alive. Again, still fucking alive. 2 shots, getting shot twice, falling off from his second floor onto the fucking floor. Cut his own throat and is still alive at this point. Michael this whole time has, I guess, been hot on the trail of Corey, and comes in out of fucking nowhere, puts on his mask, and goes to grab the knife that Corey was using. Corey struggles with Michael to not touch the knife. Michael at this point in time is like, you're now getting in my way. You were okay, but now you're getting in my way. So much like Dr. Sartain, he kills Corey. This was a big, major disappointment with that, because Corey should have been left to survive Michael Myers. He should have been, and we'll get to that in a little bit. So he kills Corey, he goes after Laurie, they struggle, and ultimately, long story short, Michael Myers ends up getting pinned down to a table, almost like to a crucifix, having his neck cut, and fucking then having his wrist cut, fucking stab. There's blood everywhere. Michael is killed. This is the first on-screen death since Rob Zombie's Halloween 2 of Michael Myers, which even then, Rob Zombie's Halloween 2, they wanted a part 3 where Michael came back and Laurie was a villain as well. That was the original concept for that. Michael is then taken to the junkyard and thrown into the what the grinder thing, like they use for fucking like metal and shit to grind things up. Michael's body is turned into fucking paste by the end of this, and Laurie is finishing writing her memoirs and saying, and you get like a good kind of depiction. Like if you remember in Halloween 1978 when Michael disappears from being shot off the balcony from Loomis, and it takes like sort of dark, ominous shots of Michael breathing and everything, and is going from room to room to room to room. This is the flip of that. Everything is serene, everything is silent, and is going from room to room to room, brightly lit. Everything is happy and everything. It's very different. It's very different. And like I felt like that was a bit the way I would have done it. The way I would have done it with the ending is Laurie dies. Laurie should have died in this movie. This should have been a movie where Laurie died. And Corey is the one that kills Michael. That would have been where I went with it. Corey kills Michael, hiding the fact that he's the one that killed all of those people. Those murders get pinned on Michael. And we go into a next movie. Now Corey's the Shape. Corey's the Shape on Halloween. And he's doing all of these things. And you create a dramatic sort of dichotomy between him and Allison. Like Allison loves him, but he's also the Shape. So it's like sort of that difference that creates an entirely new story. And what if they have kids? What if they have kids and Corey gets killed in the next movie, and then one of their kids inherits his like psychopath like nature? Like there's so many ways they could have done it. Now you can still go forward from this with a new Shape. You totally fucking can. But now we built the movie. This is another complaint of mine. You built the movie where about 70% of the movie was made to prop up this Corey character. And then you kill him. So 70% of that movie now makes no fucking difference. It makes no difference at all. And I don't know if that was the original thing that they wanted to do, but it made it like, why the fuck did we go through that if that's where you were going with it? Like, and Laurie even makes mention in her memoirs, like, evil doesn't die, it just changes shape. Now, if that was something that the camera focused on and you're panning back on Corey, let's say like Corey is the one that kills Michael. Like I said, he's the Shape, and he's hugging Allison at the end, and we're reading that dialogue. We're reading that from the fucking memoirs, and Corey looks into the camera blank, like 6-year-old Michael in 1963, and it ends with a freeze frame on that, and it says evil doesn't die, it only changes shape, and then boom, credits, Halloween theme. That to me would have been fucking insanely good. That would have been way better than what we got. That would have been. Now overall, I still enjoyed the movie. The kills were great, the effects was good, dialogue, like I said, was hit or miss, but overall I personally enjoyed it. And I love, for anyone that watched the movie that had an issue with not enough Michael in it, keep in mind when the credits came up, if the credits looked familiar to you, the credits, the font, the color of the credits, if they looked off to you, it's because it's from the original Halloween 3, which didn't have Michael in it at all. So that was a nice Easter egg and a sort of tip of the hat of what you were going to get. If you came into it, if you came in to the stream not liking Halloween Ends, did anything I say at all sort of resonate with you to give you a different outlook? Let me know. I'm gonna be highlighting this whole fucking segment and throwing it on YouTube as well. So definitely feel free, watch Halloween Ends again, go back to it and let me know.